We all know the familiar complaint, politicians don't listen. Well, consider what's going on at Fylde Council on the Lancashire coast. It's really unusual because 20 of the 51 councillors there are independents. They say the ruling Conservative group ignores them. So they're using powers passed by David Cameron to try to trigger a referendum to change the way it's run. Elaine Dunkley has the story.
In Fylde, a political storm is brewing, and it's all getting a bit frosty at the town hall. Meet the members of the Fylde Civic Awareness Group. They're critical of the cabinet, which is made up of the leader of the council and 6 Conservative councillors. The concern is too much power is in the hands of the few.
What we have here in Fylde, which is the major concern, is that the decisions are actually being made behind closed doors, and that when it actually comes to a cabinet meeting, it's purely a rubber stamping issue. When we aren't allowed to debate it, and when it is only those 7 people that make that decision, that is just so wrong. It isn't democratic.
Because really all we're talking about...
A return to the committee system would mean decisions being taken by groups of councillors from all parties. With some councillors calling for change, it's looking like a showdown is on the cards with the leader of the council.
Well, we've got various committees that operate and run the daily running of this council. The licensing committee.
The leader of the council says there is debate and democracy and is denying all allegations of deals done behind closed doors.
How do you feel about these criticisms?
I feel that they are very unfounded. Prior to the cabinet system, Fylde Borough Council was classed as being a poorly run council. Under this cabinet system, there are opportunities for all councillors within Fylde Borough Council to be involved, to criticise, to comment, to take part in debating for council, or at any of these other committees.
We've got a network of 20 shops throughout Fylde where people can walk in off the street and sign the petition.
The Fylde Civic Awareness Group needs to collect 4,000 signatures in order for there to be a referendum on this issue.
If we have a referendum, people of this borough will be able to tell them that they're not happy with what happens. And certainly in the areas that I represent, people are very unhappy about the situation.
A referendum would cost this council in excess of £120,000 to operate, and the funding for any referendum can only be met by one group of people, and they are the council taxpayers of Fylde, and I feel that that is very unfair.
It's totally unanimous.
So which direction will it go? Will the winds of change take a hold as local residents decide on cabinet or committee?
So Gerald, do you think that they would be better off going back to the older style cabinet system?
The main thing is to have a system in which listens to the people. Elected representatives are important. I'm an elected representative, just as councillors are elected representatives. But in the end, this is not about what elected representatives decide is best for the people. It's what people decide is best for themselves, with their elected representatives listening, attending, and where appropriate and possible, implementing. It doesn't seem to me that that is what is working on Fylde Council. I'm wary of referendums, and I completely accept that it might be expensive to have one, but the cure is for the council not to regard itself as living in some cocoon in its town hall. The cure is for the council to listen to the people, respond to them, pay attention, and where appropriate, do what the people ask to be done.
Do you agree that there's something going wrong there?
Yes, I do. I actually do. I think it's a very... This localism act that's been used for this particular referendum, I think it's going to be very interesting. Obviously, we've got to see what the result is. And then if that result is that it's either committee or executive, fine, let's see what happens from there. It's completely, I believe this is the first case in the country. I myself will be very interested to see what's going on. But it's evident that, okay, you've got a minority party wanting to have a louder voice. It's gone out to a referendum now. That's what's in the Localism Act. let the people speak, and I agree with Sir Gerald. It's what's going on with the elected representatives should listen to the people. We both listen to our constituents.
Sure. So Gerald, though, is saying, you know, it doesn't come down so much to political structures. It's more about whether politicians actually listen effectively or not. But clearly their view is that if you change the structure, the politicians will be forced to listen to them more.
That's their view. And the good thing about the Localism Act that's come in now is that that view can be expressed. So, you know, I, for one, I would be very, very interested to see the result of this.
I mean, I think it was Labour who changed the system to bring in cabinets, and the idea was to streamline local politics, to make decisions quicker and more efficiently. Do we think that perhaps that wasn't such a good idea, or are we saying that it works in some places and not others?
Quicker does not necessarily mean more efficient. Whoever's in charge, whether it's Conservatives, whether it's Labour, whoever, sometimes you have to pause and listen and pay attention and change your policies. That's what certainly we're discussing in my city of Manchester as well, where we have an overwhelming Labour majority and will soon have a 100% Labour council. Listen to the people. That's been my watchword in 43 years in the House of Commons. You can't always do what's asked. You can't always yield to the pressure.
I suppose the problem here, though, is that the people, in this case, are also the councillors, and it's the councillors, the independent councillors, who say the ruling group's ignoring us.
Look, what does the word democracy mean? It comes from two Greek words, demos, meaning the people, and kratia, meaning government. It's government by the people. I am a member of Parliament. I don't govern. I represent.
And costly. That might be the issue. That's what the Conservative group leader was saying. Too expensive.
Well, it's very expensive. That's what it's going to cost, £120,000. I'm absolutely certain that in future occasions, you know, that cost should be looked at in a different way, how it can be cheaper. But I'm all for democracy. I agree with everything Gerald's just said, and I think it is all about the people, this one.
David, we're all for democracy.
Yes, we are.
And let's leave it there.